I'm Mark Mendina with the Los Angeles Times, and we present another edition of Lakers Roundtable. And joining me for this edition are my esteemed colleagues Mike Bresnahan, Brad Turner with the Los Angeles Times. Changing up the format a little bit, we're going to go video here.
Going video and going outdoors, not outdoors, but outside of the quiet media room where we normally are. You can hear the melodious tunes of Hyde up there in the 200 level, whatever that is up there.
What kind of tunes were those?
I believe we're a little Beyonce. I'm no expert, but I think we're listening to Beyonce right now.
Yeah, we're just trying to be near the people, you know?
Yeah.
Well, before we go any further, though, how did Phil Jackson feel about your tie tonight?
Phil did not like my tie.
We actually have video of that. We can cue it up right now.
Really?
My turn, teacher? Yeah, go ahead. With that extra day of rest between games, does that...
The glare from your tie is just kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, so he called you out right there. Like, what was that all about?
I'm not sure what the problem is. Might be a little too teal for him, maybe a little too metallic.
It was too bright, he said.
A little too bright. He did that weird thing that we saw, you know. It was, yeah, I might not wear this tie.
Ever again?
No, probably till next week, I'm guessing. But I'm just saying.
Sunday.
Well, you know what? Even though we're going video, we had to keep some of the traditions the same. We got some chips and dip,
We got chips
and they're not
dip,
expired.
chips and
It
dip.
just expires December of 2010.
Wow.
Mark almost gave us some bad chips a couple months ago.
I learned.
No, dude. May 18th. We're gonna get December.
I'm talking about the dip.
Oh, the dip. Okay.
So I'm nearly killing you with the chips, but if you just want to eat it on the tip
May
alone.
18th expiration. It's okay. It's still a couple weeks, but
Well, good.
I thought these guys played pretty well. They could have expired tonight.
Yeah,
But they're still
But it was
alive.
a much different performance. It was a 111-87 Game 5 win, much different than Game 4. How do you explain that disparity?
I mean, you got to start with Kobe on Russell Westbrook. I mean, he held the kid to 2 of 8 shooting in the first half, 5 turnovers. No surprise, Lakers up 21 based on those stats. The whole team looks so balanced on offense, too. I mean, Bynum and Gasol combining for, 46 points, 22 or 24 rebounds. This was a well put together game plan tonight, starting with Kobe on Westbrook.
Yeah, Ron Artest actually hitting some corner threes. That's usually.
I'm still shocked.
So is
still
he?
trying to get over it.
So is Ryan. Knowing Ryan.
Well, how do the Lakers kind of carry this over for Game 6? Because so far, no one's gotten that road win. You know that old saying that Pat Riley said: a series doesn't start until they win one on the road.
You want to think that they will, because it's the Lakers. But by the same token, one thing I've learned from Phil Jackson: every game is different from the previous game. There'll be different referees. You don't sleep in your same bed. You're at a hotel. They stayed at a hotel that was supposed to be haunted. Don't know what effect that had on them, those 2 games they lost. You don't eat the same food. You take a bus to the game. You might stay out a little bit later. Well, okay, it's OKC. You won't stay out much later. But it's really hard to. The fans would be different. I mean, obviously they won't have fans cheering for them, but the fans in Oklahoma City are as loud as any in the NBA.
How are you guys' hearing level, by the way? I mean, loud Staples Center tonight.
With Mike talking, I don't hear what he's saying. You know? I can just ignore the guy.
And by the way, you say all those things. The food will be different. The beds will be different. The hotel might be different. It's not going to be different. The Lakers will lose in Oklahoma on Friday. I think we're back here on Sunday. Nice if I could talk today for a Game 7. I've just seen too many things go on against the Lakers in the last month. Starting a month ago, they lost in Oklahoma by 16. Starting a week and a half ago, they lost by 5. Starting a few days ago, they lost by 21. Average margin of defeat in the last 3 games in Oklahoma, 14 points. I mean, I think it's going to happen again. Oklahoma, the crowd is amazing. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in a pro basketball arena. I did not see the Sacramento Lakers games back in the early 2000s that you did, Brad Turner. But it's an amazing.
How does that compare?
Right now, it doesn't compare because they were basically 1 and 2 seeds. The Lakers were the second seed. The Kings were the number 1 seed. In 2002, the Kings believed they had the best team. They had the best all-around team on paper. But as we know, paper don't win games, doesn't win series. How the Lakers won up there and in Game 7 in a place where you could not hear anything. Game 7, went in overtime. They had Shaq, they had Kobe, they had, of course, Phil Jackson, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, Rick Fox. They had these incredible players on that team that withstood that. But I didn't play. When they got done, I had a migraine headache. That's how loud it was for the 4 games they played up there.
Were you able to take some aspirin or anything like that?
I toughed it out.
You toughed it out?
Toughed it out.
You know what's interesting about this series? I think there's been no mistake that they knew their youth, their athleticism, their ability to score in transition. But Phil Jackson mentioned something at the beginning of the series that was particularly interesting, where he said when you face an opponent that you don't normally face in the playoffs, there's always that unknown. And given that, has there been any things that Oklahoma's presented to them that they didn't exactly expect or at least anticipate as well?
I don't think they knew how good they were on defense. None of us really did.
Serge Ibaka, my goodness, where's that guy been?
This is his first year in the league from the Congo. I mean, this kid has come so fast, as has Russell Westbrook. We knew Kevin Durant was a very good offensive weapon, but it turns out the kid can rebound, he can play defense. I mean, let's think. Why was Ron Artest missing shots? Why was he not scoring? Well, give Kevin Durant some credit. Once he got past Kevin, they had all those shot blockers down there.
Well, looking ahead at the schedule, they'll get a lot more rest, and after Game 4, they got some rest. How significant do you think that's going to be?
Yeah, I think that's big. I mean, obviously, 2 full days between games coming into tonight, 2 full days between games going into Friday. Maybe I should revise my my little prediction. No,
Now you're going to keep it?
Lakers lose. But the thing that I think the Lakers need to really look ahead to now is the brackets for the rest of the West. Looks like they'll be playing Utah in the second round. They clobbered them the last 2 years in the playoffs. After that, they'll either play Phoenix or San Antonio, it looks like. Phoenix, great matchup for the Lakers. San Antonio, kind of an older team, even older than the Lakers. It could be like an intentional walk to the NBA Finals if the Lakers can get past this Oklahoma City team.
Well, you know what else I'm looking forward to? I understand that you have a little bit of a surprise
I brought
here.
a prop. I brought a prop.
Yeah?
Oh,
I did.
Mike Bresnahan.
Now,
What is
had a
this?
Now, we all
surprise.
remember when Mark bought his little 6th grade knockout trophy?
Amazing.
Was it 6th grade?
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you who've been hanging with us on the podcast for the last couple months, the thing was like this big. You know, this is like a tiny, tiny water bottle.
It was the effort that counted.
Sorry about that, those of you in podcast world.
Yeah, we're
It was
really
the effort that counted.
But I decided that I would kind of follow through. And Brad Turner makes a lot of fun about my glorious 8-man football career. I was 2-time All-Delphic League, once as a tight end, once as a defensive end at Buckley High School in Sherman Oaks.
So you're about to present us some evidence
I just
of
want
that.
to show you where all the magic began.
Wow.
JV Most Improved Player.
Most improved player.
From, I don't even know what year this was. I think this was 10th grade, Most Improved
But think
Player.
about that. He played 8-man football. They had 10 players. Everyone got a trophy.
No, we
for
had
something. I mean, so he got most improved when they gave out 10 most improved trophies, and he got one.
Mike, you know what? I will give you credit. It has your name on it. Mine didn't. And Brad wasn't afraid to point out that that may not have been mine.
I went to a private high school where going to Buckley was more expensive than where I went to college at the University of Wisconsin. But I'm very proud of this plaque. It is hanging in my bedroom to this day. Okay, that's not true. That is not true. Brad Turner, why are you shaking your head? Most improved player, Buckley School junior varsity football, where the magic and the mystery began.
Right now, I'm so ashamed to be here. I'm so ashamed to call you my co-workers.
Even Michael Roth, Staples Center AEG spokesman over off on the wings here, has to laugh at the lunacy, the idiocy that is going
Being
on.
the
You know what,
most
Mike?
improved is going to get you a lot of girls, Mike.
Well, you know what? Mike Bresnahan, you showed a lot of improvement on the gridiron. Lakers showed some improvement from Game 4 to Game 5. We'll see if they can carry that ahead in Game 6.